Welcome to Spiritual Inspirations, a podcast brought to you by Science of Spirituality and Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj, a world-renowned spiritual master who teaches SOS meditation on the inner light and sound of God. Thank you for subscribing, and please share this with others who seek to live spiritually rich and fulfilling lives. Meditation has valuable benefits to our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj provides practical tips and strategies for how we can improve our body, mind, and soul through meditation. Practiced by millions of people worldwide, SOS meditation is easy to learn and can transform your life. How to Deal with Criticism from Others by Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj. In this podcast, Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj provides practical tips on how to deal with criticism from others. Learn how to eliminate these distracting thoughts that interfere with our meditation.
As we close our eyes and we still the body, we find a quiet place and we sat down by ourselves and we're not touching anyone, so no one's going to meet, then we've stilled the body. That's easy to still. But as soon as we do that, many of us have a very similar problem. That problem is thoughts. Thoughts about the past, thought about the future, thought about one thing, thought about another thing. And that distracts us. And many times we find that what has happened to us in our day-to-day lives also starts to affect our meditations, because we are unable to take that aspect of our interaction with someone else out of the picture as we want to meditate. Whether we live in our homes, whether we go to work, whether we just meeting others, one of the greatest difficulties that comes to everyone is criticism. We find that children in the home are always talked down to by the parents. You didn't do this, you didn't do this, you should do that. That's not right for you. How can you jump on the bed? One. So many things that we as parents are telling the kids. As the kids grow and become teenagers, they start talking back to the parents. As we look into our own homes, how many times, a husband tells a wife what is the better thing for her to do, and wife tells the husband what is the right thing for him to do. Then we go to work. And at work, generally, there is much criticism of the kind of work that we are doing. Either a boss is not happy with our work, or a co-worker thinks we don't know anything. And so many things start to happen in which we are looked down upon. Now when someone criticizes us, then the effect of that criticism is not only there for the time that we are there, or we heard the criticism, but those effects are there for long periods of time. And as we meditate, it's a rerun of the whole scene that's going on for us. When that happens, then our attention, instead of being focused on the spiritual heights that we can experience, just goes into being focused on that criticism that we were involved with. And then we find that we are unable to experience the divine. So criticism is a part of life that we all have to deal with. But its effects are very, very bad if we don't let that criticism pass away. many of us hold on to the criticism. And so there are two ways in which people react. One is when someone criticizes you, you think, yeah, maybe they are right. You start to look at yourself and you start to evaluate what is it that they were saying that we're not doing correct, and you start to fix yourself. Another way that you look at the criticism is, you can understand why the other person or party is criticizing you. Because it's very simple that whatever you did or whatever you said was so good and so correct. So how could they find fault with it? Then you get angry. And when you get angry, in anger, either you say things which are very, very difficult in the long run, or you start to retaliate even later on. And you think, this person unjustly made me feel bad. And so one starts to retaliate. And in time, when you take that route, it creates more difficulties and more difficulties and more difficulties, not only for the person that you're retaliating against, but for yourself too, because the time and the effort that it takes to get to that state keeps you away from being able to grow spiritually. So saints and mystics tell us that we need to forgive and we need to forget.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Spiritual Inspirations. To explore more about SOS meditation on the inner light and sound, visit our website at www.sos.org. Also, please visit Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages for a schedule of his world tours and public programs at any of the over 3,000 Science of Spirituality centers around the world. Please feel free to share this podcast with a friend, and we'll see you in the next episode.